I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. And today with me I have...
Łukasz Woźniak from Tekken and More.
Łukasz, I have interviewed you before, which you just reminded me of 2 minutes ago, which isn't great for this one because I don't know which questions I'm going to be asking again for the second time, but I am just as interested in the answers. So that's the good news. Because I remember having some of these conversations, but I wasn't sure how much was on an interview versus how much was just talking. Because at this point, so let's get some context. So a few things to note to you watching this. Number one, Tekken the board game is currently live on GameFound. Go ahead and check it out if you are interested in Tekken the board game. If you're not interested in Tekken the board game, there's plenty of other things you can do. But you could check this out. Alternatively, there's also The Witcher Legacy, which is not live on GameFound, but the preview page is live on GameFound. So if you want to see more coming there and do that, go ahead and follow the campaign. And then thirdly, and most importantly, Łukasz, you're the, what's your title? CEO? Owner?
I am co-owner at Tekken and More. I am also designing the board games that we are doing.
Well, speaking of which, your names aren't on your name isn't on these boxes. Is it supposed to be on these boxes? Is it on the box? It is on that box. I lied. It's on that box. Not on this box.
Yeah, so historically our company started with my designs.
Okay.
And we obviously looking into the future are definitely thinking about, opening things up. Actually, it's already happening that some people are sending us the designs. But at some point we have also switched, like with the Witcher Path of Destiny. It's not just the designer, but we put... a game by Łukasz Woźniak and Go on Board. Yeah. And it's to highlight the fact that the initial main, design is done by me.
But it's a collaborative
project. It's collaborative, and the project, it's a, labor of a great group of people, big group of people, so it's not about the mechanics, which are then developed at our company by developers, but the graphic design, the story, the product quality, etc. So
speaking of collaborative, how large is Go on Board at this point?
At this point, about a little over 50 people.
A little over 50 people. Wow, pretty decent. So 50 people so far, and you started with just you. How did you start way back in the day?
Yeah, so history. Our company started actually. It's 10 years this year, 10 years ago. But it started with a online store where we would just sell games, sell board games, and it was connected to my YouTube channel because I started as a content creator. I actually, on my first year of college, I started doing both at the same time. So making videos and designing games. But the videos were up quickly because I posted them. Yeah. The design... came to fruition with some of the projects going to retail some years after. And the first, I think, 10 games that I did were published through different publishers in Poland. And then now I am almost exclusively doing things with Go on Board, the company I co-own and love and enjoy.
And Go on Board's first game, and I don't know if I remember this correctly, because I didn't go through the notes in this first, but I'm just going by memory. Was it Valhalla? Was that what it was?
Valhalla was our first big game.
Big game, okay.
Before that, we actually did 2 games.
Okay.
The one was...
Valhalla was the first on crowdfunding.
Yes, exactly. Because with Valhalla, we also built our own crowdfunding website. Yeah. Just done in Polish, but very much catered to to crowdfunding board games specifically. Okay. And then as GameFound grew and did the same thing internationally, then we with The Witcher Path of Destiny, we stopped doing games on our platform. So Valhalla was first big one. Before that, we had 2 games. One was a card game, word game, and the second one was this, I think, clever design. Of course, it's I shouldn't be the judge of that, but we made it. And design it in a way that it can be played with just 10 cards, and actually it has some depth to it. And we were giving out the cards and additional packs as a gift in our store. So the store also started with our design, but it was a freebie that you can collect.
Gotcha. And so you started with Valhalla. Yes. Well, so you started with the 2 games. You went to Valhalla. Yes. You went to Titans after that. Yes. All of these your own projects. And then since then, there hasn't been a single project that wasn't an IP game.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask a few questions. That's the starting layer to this.
The Witcher,
thing.
Old World,
Yeah.
The Witcher, Path of Destiny, Cyberpunk 2077, the board game, Tekken the board game, and The Witcher Legacy. Yes.
So the first question I'm gonna ask is: do you plan on having more games that aren't IP games?
We are looking into the future, not exactly knowing what will happen. The main thing for us is building a pace for company, for our team,
Yeah.
that allows for, creative freedom, but also allows us, company-wide to plan these things out in the future. So there is a big need and big want, like desire, to create our own worlds.
Yeah.
Like we did before. With Valhalla, of course, we were looking at the Norse mythology. With Titans, we actually went into creating our own mythology more. In the future, I definitely see that, but it all depends on what projects, how many projects we can take on.
Yeah, because one of the things I find interesting, so always one of those no matter what you choose, you have to give up something.
Yeah.
IP games definitely bring eyeballs. There's no question about that. But your IP games so far have generally been well enough received that it doesn't just bring the eyeballs. Now you have the eyeballs, but then there's a clamoring of there's gonna be people who are like, oh my gosh, Tekken, The Witcher, or whatever. But there's gonna be also people who are like, can I just get something that is like unique, that's yours, I want to see what Go On Board can do now that I'm already a fan, if you never heard of them before. So but right now it sounds, from the answer you gave, it sounds like you're saying who knows what the future holds, but there's nothing in the works.
So this now it's year 2025.
Yes.
And you can see the project that is live and the one that we have announced for this year. We are definitely working on things for 2026 and 2027. And it's hard to tell what the future will hold exactly, because every year we have, we plan things, but then we have to adjust things. But yeah, the IP projects have been not only a big success for us, which is key here, because it's about sustaining the company, the business, right? Making sure that we are able to employ the team, and even taking on a risk of another project to make sure that we can be a stable place of work. So looking into the future, we don't know, but of course that would be great to work with the IPs that we love and also work on our own, because now we are working on the IPs that we love. So this is also important for us, that we are working with CD Projekt Red, which is growing and going great. And also looking for different IPs of games that we actually like people in our company asking me or asking asking around, could we do game in this universe or that universe? So it's
personal favor, if you ever get to do a BioShock game, I'd love that.
So boom, another game on the list.
There is one. I know for the people down below, I know there is one. It's not a very good BioShock game. I want a BioShock game that really captures the feeling of the universe.
So, and this is the hard part, when you have to look at the time that you have, personally, and at the time that company has, and choose. And it's not easy. It's many things come to a decision. So it's not easy to decide what projects we take on and which ones we don't. There were times that we took on projects that then turned out we are unable to finish them. So it's costly, it's frustrating, and it's irresponsible. So we don't want to do that.
So bringing back to these over here, across your 5 IP games so far, 4 of them are CD Projekt Red.
Yes.
And I don't even know who makes Tekken. Who makes Tekken?
Bandai Namco.
Bandai Namco. Okay. So CD Projekt Red, they're a Polish company, correct? Is that how the connection was made initially? How was the connection made initially?
Yeah. So they are a Polish company. Of course, they are international. They have studios and offices in different locations. So the big part of CD Projekt Red is in States, but yes, their offices are in Warsaw, so it helps us when we playtest things with them, discuss ideas, to visit them directly. The initial contact was made through one person at the company. I got in touch with them, asking them very openly if I were to pitch a Witcher adventure game, would they be open? And luckily, we knew each other from other things, also from the fact that I was making some online videos.
Okay.
So there was the connection, and the answer was yes, but the key thing is the design. So you have to first sell us on your design idea for the game, and then we can talk shop details, etc. So that, and then there were few years before we actually had the Witcher all the world campaign. So I waited to come up with an idea that I believed was right.
Yeah. And then for Bandai, how did that connection happen?
Also, we through a person that we know and knows them. Mm-hmm. So they connected us. We wanted to talk about the Tekken.
You were specifically seeking out Tekken?
Yeah.
Had you considered any of the other Street Fighter type properties?
Have we considered any other?
Were you guys thinking, I want to make a Tekken game, or were you thinking, I want to make a fighting game, and Tekken was the one that you chose?
We were thinking, I want to make the Tekken game. So that was our thinking. Of course, we analyzed what games are out there and what titles are coming up. Cool. But Tekken had the 8th installment.
Yeah.
Also had its 30th anniversary last year, and Tekken 8, we started talking with them sometime before Tekken 8 was released, actually. So the discussion took some time, was quite long. But Tekken 8 is great. So, and visually and mechanically, gameplay wise, so we are really happy with doing that particular fighting game that we like, and it is still alive and it's still growing and still people enjoy it.
So what's interesting is I think Street Fighter's had a few games by now. Tekken, this is the first one. But Mortal Kombat, which I would argue, I could be wrong, I would argue it's the most popular of the genre, hasn't had any board games.
No comment.
No comment. No comment. Okay. Well.
No. I mean, we're not doing Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
No, we are not that. No. I mean, yeah, I agree. They are. What I like about this one is the fact that it has the over the top, let's say fantasy.
Yeah.
In it, like over the top fantasy theme. At the same time, the feeling of this game. Makes it feel like a real combat, a real fighting game.
Yeah.
So and actually that's what we try to relay here deliver here in mechanics, is where you can play simplistically fun, kind of a button mash, but also there are ways for you to anticipate the movements of your enemy. There are things that you can consider, and there are ways in the video game and in the board game, I would say even more so, to maximize your options and the combos you can create. So I like that feeling that, and you don't have to be particularly fan of that video game if you're looking for a.
I've never once played Tekken in my life. I've played Street Fighter, I've played Mortal Kombat, never played Tekken. I probably should play Tekken at some point, but that's neither here nor there. But having never played Tekken, I can tell you I played this game. You can always see my review on the channel. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and check that out if you want. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. Never played the game.
Boom. That was the idea.
Yeah. So we have Tekken, we have The Witcher. You mentioned you have other games coming up, and this is where you feel free to say no comment to any of these questions, because they're obviously going to be other plans.
Probably will do, because
I'm keeping my questions. I'm not saying what are your next 5 games. I know to keep the questions vague enough that I might not get no comments.
Yeah, and obviously we can talk about that. Right, there will be from now until the launch of this campaign as well, a lot of discussion about the legacy. So we also, since I have this opportunity talking to your community, we are very grateful always for input in our games. It's not something that we can always add on, but knowing how big this IP is for people, we have purposely set up time, so we can listen. So also suggest and comment away either here or on our GameFound stuff. But I'm moving back to the future.
So a few questions. Let's start with the one that might get a no comment. I don't know. Do you have more games in the Witcher universe planned?
So very good. This question, I got this question asked. As we were successful with the Witcher Old World.
Yeah.
So I will answer that question retrospectively.
Okay.
So I was saying then, with what I can say now, that working with CD Projekt Red is great. We love the Witcher universe. So both of those things mean that we are open to look for other games or creating other games in this universe, because of although this is our third one,
Yeah.
I see many other games in different genres even that could work in this universe, and that this universe I would say it requires even. So when I was answering that question, when we talked with people about after the Witcher Old World, we were already talking with them about Path of Destiny, and we have already started this one.
Okay.
So because this was this now is 3.5 years in making. As you said, it's built on the Witcher Old World with more story, with bigger story arc, and connected through scenarios, decisions, etc. So we may or may not be working on some other future projects in the Witcher IP.
Do you have other publishers outside of Bandai and CD Projekt Red that you're working on IPs?
This one I can confirm, yes.
Yeah. You see, I don't think my question is vague enough. You have to get it's a weird balance of like, what can you say? So we have things outside of these two publishers. So we have more IP games. Can you say if they are video games or others, or so far you've only done video games?
Yeah,
but there's lots of IPs out there.
That is correct. That is true. But naturally, we're not only talking to video game IP holders, companies, but naturally, if there is a video game, a good game, a game that has brings this a unique player experience, this is something that is an exciting base on which we can build a similar yet different, because it's in a different medium, player experience with a board game. So that's why we so far naturally are drawn to these, and that's why I think generally, if done well, they do well.
Yeah.
Because people have experienced something in a video game, and they want to have a similar experience in the medium that they enjoy, or if they, as you with Tekken, haven't experienced that, they still, if they see the merit of the mechanics themselves, they maybe like want to go back. Okay, how does that work in the video game? So it's not exclusive, but naturally we're drawn to that, and that's a very lengthy answer with the reasoning to a yes or no question.
What's an IP that you haven't worked with yet that you would love to?
Yeah. So if you're asking me personally,
You personally.
yeah. So my answer to that question is, on the top of my list is the IP, but this is not the answer to your question. But on the top of my list is The Witcher, but we have worked with that.
Yes.
But I want to get that out there, because this is crucial, that we are actually lucky enough to be working in the IP, or even IPs, because Tekken and Cyberpunk are also on the top of the list. Me personally, I love Star Wars, and I don't love all the Star Wars things that are out there.
It's an important disclaimer for all Star Wars fans.
And I maybe we definitely would disagree on which movie, show, or stuff is better. I don't know all the extended universe. Through some of the things I am going through right now for the first time, and this is my honest answer. But luckily, right, there are so many Star Wars games that I see that I could bring something there new. But if that doesn't ever work out, I'm still happy with Star Wars board games. Star Wars lovers have a lot.
Yeah.
And going back to your question, right? Of course, Star Wars is a big universe, so naturally, many different games are there. But you can say we are already doing our third Witcher game, right?
Yes.
Of course, there are other Witcher games and products out there, but I think there are many more possibilities to create games in this or Cyberpunk or any other universe that is strong and evocative.
Okay. Moving away from IPs, but to a different question. So far, since going with these IPs, all of your games have been fairly big box experiences. Path of Destiny was definitely, mid-range. You had the opportunity to get like a more mid-range, but What do you are you is your primary design goals with your current games at least on these big box experiences? Do you plan on leaning into small and medium more, or is it more big box?
Yeah, so even here we have this is a big box,
Yeah.
but the gameplay experience in it of itself, there's also a smaller version if you want just a two-player version of that game. But if you get this big box with 8 characters, 4 stages, tournament mode, the you know there are it is filled with components, but the game it's you know fairly tight. This one, yes, it is huge gameplay wise. So we are diversifying. We are doing different things, and even with Cyberpunk, which is also a big box experience, it is also an action adventure game as The Witcher Old World. It is a completely different action adventure game with some of the things that maybe follow. So we like action, we like adventure, we like creating big projects. So in the future, probably yes.
So I didn't realize this was going to come in a smaller box version. So for the small box version, you mentioned it's 2-player.
Just two
player,
characters,
two characters.
two characters, one stage.
Is there a goal to go mass market with that?
So
Like to go get them in Target, Barnes and Nobles, whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah, of course. It's always so. Also, this is why the answer to your question is it's somewhat vague because like we are doing projects that we love. We also have to make sure that you know we can deliver and also they make sense financially long term. So that's why we are doing different projects and we will observe and analyze how well they do in crowdfunding, how well they do in retail, right? And then more depending on that, you know, decide on what we want to do in the future. But you know, always mainly as long as we can do the things that we love and enjoy.
And then I asked a question about this, last question about that. For The Witcher Legacy, is there any integration at all between this and the Old World?
With this one, the immediate answer is yes, because right now, even if you follow the campaign, the follow gift, if you get the game in the future, is a monster, exclusive monster that works with this game. But also we added a card that allows it to be used in The Witcher Old World.
Okay.
But because so the answer is yes, but even though the action cards or the player boards at the beginning of the game, they look similarly, they are built differently, so it makes sense here through a campaign where your character grows and things are changing. So wherever we can, we did that.
All right, cool. I'll end with one last question.
Sure.
You got into this as a fan of the hobby, I assume. You decided to make videos, decided to make board games. You got into it so I guess maybe like a few questions.
Sure.
What were some of the games that got you into the hobby?
My two first big games were that I bought. Oh, maybe I will start with the first one. The first game that really drawn me into the modern games was Runebound.
Okay. Yes.
I think it was a second edition or maybe a first one. I'm not sure.
It's funny because I don't know. Maybe I asked you that before. I don't know. But I always, for me, The Witcher Old World always felt like the game I wanted Runebound to be. Like I liked Runebound in theory. I enjoyed Runebound. I played it. I thought it was a lot of fun. And then I played The Witcher Old World, and I was like, this is always the extra level I wanted from it.
Thank you very much. That is great to hear. When I first encountered Runebound, it was 20 years ago. And because it was my first adventure game, first modern one at least, for me, it was basically perfect. But as I grew, this building upon the experiences I have and the things that I wanted to have, right? That's where the dreams of creating my own games came from. So that's great to hear. Before Runebound, I played Risk and Catan and some other games. With some friends and people around. So I was lucky enough to know people that own games outside of Monopoly, which was very rare. Now, looking at the board game sphere and options, it's great to see that there are so many conventions and places where people can get hooked on board games. So I'm really happy with that. And the first two games that I purchased myself for my collection, the first three, I think, they were Runebound, Twilight Imperium, 3rd edition.
Decent third game.
And then World of Warcraft, the big box game. So I immediately jumped into big adventure games. Then I fell in love with Euro games, economic, strategic games, and then my collection grew in different directions.
Which brings us to the question I was leading to, which is nowadays with everything going on with your company, with running a company with 50 people, with multiple projects in the pipeline, do you still get to play other games that aren't yours?
Oh yeah, of course.
And if so, what are your favorites from them?
I mean, I don't get to play as many games as I would like.
I think that applies to all of us. Doesn't matter how many you're playing.
That is true, but actually there was a moment in my life that I think I was playing as many games as I was matching my target, I would say. Being able to, in my reviewer, pre-having 4 children and running a company, so in my reviewer days, I was very happy with the amount of games I was able to play, which I loved and still love experiencing new games, and it also was very helpful leading up to this moment in my life where I was able to see so many different games in a short period, and that affected my thinking and looking at the product. So I love that. Now, as I said, I have four kids, and then it's not that I only play with them. I also sometimes play different games at my work. I sometimes play games at conventions and stuff like that, and with friends. But a lot of the time I would play with them. So last year I got into Star Wars Unlimited and Lorcana, and also Pokemon. So I like all of those, and I played all of those with my kids, and we played some few versions of Zombicide that they really enjoy, and some smaller, easier adventure games. So yeah.
Very nice. Well, Łukasz, it's been a pleasure having you on. Interviewing you in person this time, which is much better than the nothing wrong with online, but in person is nicer. But yeah, thanks for coming on, for answering questions about these games. To you watching, again, Tekken the board game is live now. Yeah. The Witcher Legacy you can follow, and apparently there are other games coming in the future. Some possibly in the Witcher world, possibly, but who knows? And definitely some from other publishers, and maybe in the future some individual IPs.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. It was great to talk to you, and of course, if you people out there have any other questions, I'll try to answer them below in the chat. And excited to be here. I love the studio. I love the setup. It is a weird, cool feeling, to be in a place that you typically see from the other side.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great, and thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And you have a good one.